This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the Gulf of Mexico as their backdrop, broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, here are the hosts of the dinkiest podcast in America, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you coming to La Di Da on a beautiful Saturday here on Fort Myers Beach. We have a great show, as usual, lined up for you. But first, I would like to introduce you to my 6-year sidekick and 30-year wife, Mrs. Kim Ryan. Hey, the birthday girl. It's your birthday month.
Oh, my Lord. Would you stop with that? I was planning on us having a big 30-year, like an anniversary, like redoing our vows and having a reception.
Yeah.
And now you did it for my birthday. So you stole my thunder.
Well, I want to thank everybody here at Margaritaville for helping us with the surprise.
I do too. Yes.
She thought maybe something was up at the house, and then we went up the stairs. Jilly took her up the stairs across the terrace, and they opened the door to the conference room, and everybody was in there and yelled surprise. And her mom was here, her dad was here, her aunt, her sister, her brothers, and a few people that watched the show, and they had fabulous food. And it was a wonderful time. So,
yes. And I want to thank everybody, all of you guys there, some of you that are here, for the amazing cards.
Yes.
I mean, I'm upwards of just cresting over 185.
185
so 185 cards with well wishes in them, so many kind words. Some of them, thank you for, some had gift certificates, some had, stuff to help me on my trip to Africa, and I'm so appreciative. I did bring 2 of the 180 whatever, but because I just wanted to show this one from the Adderholt. It's so cool. The middle of that manatee is made from tiny scrolls of paper, where they scroll the paper up. It's so cool.
Leave it to the Adderholts to get very creative.
And then this one's hilarious too, because when you open it up, and all the cookie cards, we loved all the Bulldog cards too. But this one, it's got pickleballers playing pickleball.
Very funny.
And it says rematch. So thanks to now I can't read because I don't have my glasses on. Oh, it had a little card in it. So thank you to Kim Hatch
from Wisconsin.
And Wisconsin is in the house.
Yes, we have Wisconsin people here. And why don't you read what Greg Skasny's card said? Go ahead.
I didn't bring that one. It's R-rated.
There's a couple.
It's not R-rated. It's not.
Pictures?
No, it just had a bad word, but it was
couple
super
F-bombs in there.
funny.
Yeah. Was that from?
That was from his mom.
From your mom.
Wanda.
We love your mom.
Thank you, Wanda.
Yeah. So I have.
And her husband, Greg Sr.
Oh, now John Councilman King feels left out that you didn't.
Their card was great, and they gave us, we can go back on our anniversary because they gave us a gift certificate down to Angelina's. So we will go back there, and maybe we'll take them. We should invite them.
That'd be nice. Yeah. So I need to tell a quick story. I was doing my walk around on Williams. By the way, Williams Drive, the folks, the neighborhood, the neighbors on Williams are so nice. They're so friendly. And there was a transformer that fell off one of the telephone poles during Ian, like 2 years ago, and it's still in the ground in front of Diane's house. And, she's drawn, like, spray painted on it, help FPL. She's called FPL a couple of times, and they every time she calls, they say, I don't have any record of your call. So the vice mayor was watching, and you know how he snaps into action when FPL doesn't get their job done. So we expect to see him and Brenda over there with a shovel pulling that transmitter or transformer out of the ground. But I'll bet you he gets it done quickly. But the other story I wanted to tell you was I had the worst nightmare that you could ever have for me. I had a dream that none of the bathrooms on Fort Myers Beach were functioning. Like I would go into one bathroom and it was overflowing, and I'd go into another bathroom and the toilet was gone, and a porta potty. I mean, I woke up in a cold sweat. Like, can you imagine going to like me? Like, well, I have to go every 13 seconds and every single, I mean, how does a dream like that happen? Of course, I woke up and I had to go to the bathroom.
Well, that's how that
which
happens.
was the problem. But the entire 7 miles, not a single functioning bathroom. Well, I mean, how does that happen? What kind of dream is that? I mean,
Way to put the show in the toilet, dear.
All right, let's get to our.
Who's got to follow that comment? Because I'm sure both of our guests are thrilled.
And no shit about these guests, but we love to have them on. Our friends from the Island Pancake House are getting ready to open. Brian and Stacy, come on down. Thank you very much. Oh wait, that's for you guys. Grab a microphone and nice and close with the microphone. And geez, we've been waiting so long to finally have you guys.
You can't set this up right.
I know. You can just pull on it. Make sure the sound works. Got a big audience for you guys. Brian and Stacy from the Island Pancake House. I want to make sure I say it right. The Islands with an apostrophe S. They're going to be located where they were previously located in the Seagrape Plaza, and they will be the first retail location to open in the Seagrape Plaza. First off,
tell us how long you were in there, because you guys had taken it over, right?
Yeah, we purchased it from Robert Morrill on June 24th, 2022. So we had it for about 3 months.
3 months. And that's when that plaza was completely full too. Like every single unit was taken. So how bad was the damage? Obviously, I think everybody knows the answer, but kind of take us through what you went through when you first get back there. How long did it take for you to get back and see?
So we were able to get back on the island on the 30th. 2 days after the hurricane, we were able to walk down to the Estero. They weren't letting anybody drive on it at the time, so we were able to walk down there. And I told my wife, I thought that we were 100% prepared for what we were going to see, and we were nowhere near prepared for what we saw. It was pretty devastating.
You're talking about from the walk all the way there, like
there, and then when we got to our place, it was crazy. I mean, everybody that's been down here knows what it was like.
So was there still sand and debris on Estero Boulevard?
Yeah.
So you had to figure a way down there.
We're from Minnesota, and it kind of reminded us of like they were plowing snow off the streets.
Right,
there was one strip down the middle of Estero so they could get emergency vehicles, and other than that, it was 2-3 feet, 6 feet of sand in places. It was just like snow drifts.
Yeah.
So.
And the debris. And so when you walked in, what did you see when you walked into your place?
There was a lot of people's homes stuff was in the restaurant. There was when we walked in, it was devastating. And we started looking around to maybe like try to salvage whatever we could. There was nothing to salvage. But like our walk-in fridge and freezer was blown right out of the back wall. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that building was wicked damaged. I mean, I'm surprised it was still standing, but everything was totally gone in that building.
So the structure of the walls, they were all good. The roof, for all intents purposes, was okay, but he had damage on both ends of the plaza, so he had to fix that, and in the process he had to fix the roof. But in all actuality, our roof was good because it never was even leaking in there. We didn't have no rain in there at all. I mean,
how high up did the water go? Do you have an idea inside there?
Exactly. I can tell you exactly where it was. If you walk into our restaurant right now, the only thing that survived our restaurant was the sign that's out front, and then our exhaust hood. And so the water level was right up to the exhaust hood.
So how high is that?
So I would tell you it's about 7 feet inside the building.
Jeepers creepers.
So somebody told me previously that for water to get into our building, you would have to have a storm surge of about 6 feet.
Yep.
So we expect that storm surge to have been 13 to 14 feet in our building.
And across the street, across from Estero, there are condo buildings. So where were the houses? Like, were they on Lover's Lane, or where did the houses come from that landed
do you
in?
even know? I mean,
We have no idea.
yeah.
I know behind the Seagrape Plaza, we found one of our tripper coolers that probably weighs close to 1,000 pounds, but that was outside the back, so it floated through the pizza joint that was in Seagrape and then out the back door.
Jeez.
Well, the other thing too is the water came in, and it could have been when the water came back out. It
Sucked
could have
some of the
brought
houses out.
Nichols
Yeah,
stuff
down the
and left
street.
it there.
Yeah, so if you look behind the Seagrape Plaza on the backside of our restaurant, what is it, Love Lane?
Yeah, Lover's Lane.
Lover's Lane. There was debris that was all, I don't know, Stacy, probably 100 feet deep, 12 feet high.
Yeah.
There was nothing but like cars and who knows what was in it, but there was cars underneath this. And
2 of the houses were gone. 2 of the houses
Yeah,
that
that-
were behind
you
there.
could-
Yeah.
were-
That street was.
They
There's
got
some
hit.
construction going on there now, thankfully, but you could really see those homes
yeah,
over there
they've
were
done
damaged.
a good job on that. Almost all
Yes.
the houses are brand rebuilt now.
Yep.
And they're finishing up.
Yeah.
So
So when you guys see the damage, I mean, obviously emotional. You just purchased a business. Do you think, well, maybe we shouldn't restart this? I mean, what did you go through to, think about and get close to deciding that you wanted to get back in business? How was that whole thing, Stacy?
Well, we did what we did. We went back home, and we really didn't talk about it for probably 2-3 days. And the next day, we woke up and we said, "We're gonna do it. We're strong. This was our dream, and we're not gonna let it."
So there wasn't
deter."
one who was like,
Oh, there was some of that. There
'Cause you-
was some of that.
But why come back to Fort Myers Beach? I mean, you live in the Cape. You could have found another retail location somewhere else, right?
So we did look. We looked at a bunch of places, but one of the things that I want to add on to what Stacy was saying is we woke up one day and we decided that we did not want Ian to define our future. We wanted us to define our future. So we did look. We looked over in Sanibel. We looked at a bunch of locations down in Fort Myers Beach here. There was options. We looked off the island, but we felt that when we made this decision in 2022, we fell in love with Fort Myers Beach. We fell in love with the 1970s vibe of the beach. And this is
we
where
fell in love with the Pancake House.
yes, absolutely. We looked at a bunch of places before we decided to purchase that, but we love the area, and this is where we decided we wanted to be back to finish our dream.
and I think a lot of people loved the pancake. I mean, I remember going there, and those blueberry muffin or the blueberry pancakes were
It's
They'll be
really,
back.
really good.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Will they be back?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
As my stomach is growling
Yeah.
so loud just at the mention of it.
So the insurance, did you guys have insurance, and how did that work out for you?
Still fighting.
Okay.
We hired lawyers.
Really?
Obviously, a lot of what we bought, you guys, was a name recognition and a client base.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This thing has been around since '77, so that was
Wow.
that was the appeal. The insurance isn't going to pay for that, and then the insurance comes back and says, "Well, all your equipment is depreciated, so we're only going to give you pennies on the dollars." And everybody
Yeah.
that's been down here that went through this knows probably the story.
Yeah.
right, with the insurance company.
So you decide to reopen. It's been almost 2 years. Obviously, everybody wants to know when you're going to open. But before that, you got this wall that you want to create for the folks on the beach. Tell everybody about that.
So we want to, obviously, we're starting again, right? We want to be new too. We want new stuff to happen on the beach, but we don't want to forget about what happened on the beach. So we're going to create a wall. If anyone wants to bring their story down, and we're going to put their story up on the wall.
So you want them to bring a picture or
Picture.
Yeah. So what we're looking for is anybody, specifically we're looking on the Fort Myers Beach stories, but
Sure.
if you could provide us with a picture and the names of who's in the picture and a story, a brief story, we are going to put that story on that picture and we're going to hang it on a tribute wall to Ian. And I tell you what, Ed, you blasted this out on your page, Facebook page, a while ago, and when Stacy and myself decided we were going to do this, we thought that was such a cool thing to do. And to be honest with you, after the last couple of days, this is secondary because people have been sending us the pictures and their stories, and we have a chance now to connect with you guys on your story. And to me, that was way more of a reward than this tribute wall is going to be. It's just crazy. I mean, I'm honored that I've been able to share your guys' story with us.
So did you get a few?
We got a few. We want a lot more. So and we could reblast the email address, but we still have room for a lot more. But we're getting a lot in.
What is you can tell them now, and somebody will type it in the chat box. What is the email address people can reach out to you with pictures and stories?
You could go B_J_MARTINS@hotmail.com.
Okay, so if somebody can type that in, if you have a story or a picture from the last 2 years that you can share with Brian, that's going to be a cool wall. Did you guys get more space? Did you get 2 units instead of 1?
We always had 2 units, but one of them was split from the previous owner. We weren't allowed to sublease, so we were in the process of opening up the Island Sandwich Shop right before Ian started.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so we were going to use that 500 square feet for a sandwich shop. And obviously that changed. That wall got blown out in the hurricane. We decided to use that space for the diner, and now we're going to have a full liquor license in the.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
You see,
You'll get something to go with the blueberry pancakes.
Yes.
you can never go wrong with a liquor license on Fort Myers Beach,
Yeah.
Brian. I mean, that's that. I mean,
we
you
know
see,
it.
You see what people applaud for? Liquor,
Yeah.
alcohol is a home run here on the beach.
And the bonus is we're grandfathered in Seagrape Plaza. It's not zoned for any alcohol. So we'll be the only one in Seagrape Plaza that could ever have a liquor license.
So there wasn't one in there before?
We did have a 2 COP, a beer and wine, but because we were grandfathered in and we stayed in there, we were allowed to keep our liquor license and increase it to a 4 COP.
Nice. So,
So where are you now? Coming back? What's the holdup and what's the date?
Can you call Tico?
does Adderholt have any contacts at Tico? I know he's got inside connections at FPL, but
so the whole city of Fort Myers Beach has been absolutely phenomenal working with us.
Yeah.
It's not on them anymore. It's really on Tico to run a gas line. We've been waiting for a month now. So as soon as they get it in, which we're going to be optimistic is going to happen early next week. And once that happens, we can finish our inspections. We believe that we could still get this thing open before Labor Day weekend.
So very nice.
Yeah. We're literally waiting on inspections, you guys. Get a gas line, finish inspections. Everything else, if you walked into our restaurant right now, is basically ready to go.
So tell the story about Tico, because it's not like you called them yesterday and said, hey, we're ready to go. How agonizing has it been working with that company?
So 8 months ago, I called the contact. I won't call him out personally, but 8 months ago, I called Tico and said, look, we had electric previously. So after the hurricane, we decided we were going to go with natural gas. And I called Tico and they said, nope, not a problem. Whenever you're ready, give us a call. We'll be in and out in 48 hours. So about 5 weeks ago, I called them and said, okay, we're ready. And we've been going back and forth now for 5 weeks, and we still don't have the gas line.
Do they understand
that is a long 48 hours.
Do they understand the urgency of what's going on? I mean, does anybody from Tico ever been on Fort Myers Beach or driven down Estero or been in the Seagrape Plaza or anything like that?
All I know is they're passing the buck to each other. The front office is blaming the operation sides. Operations is blaming the front end side. Everybody's blaming somebody, but at the end of the day, we don't have a gas line.
I don't know why Rick is asking me to ask you this, Stacy. Maybe this is an insight. Do you know who Rick is?
Yeah.
Okay. He's asking me to ask you if storms scare you.
They used to.
Okay.
I was very scared of storms. In Minnesota, we had a lot of tornadoes.
Okay.
And when we came here, I was definitely afraid. And the day the hurricane came, I was in a closet with our dog, watching him go outside, take pictures every hour, and I'm yelling at him to get in the house. And during the storm, the water was getting high.
Yeah.
It was very
And you're in the
scary.
Cape.
We were in the Cape, and our neighbors, Rick and Terry, they were like, we got to go. I think we need to go.
Okay.
And so we got in our vehicles. We went to Terry's parents' house, picked them up. They're older people. And we drove across Midpoint Bridge in the middle of the storm.
Ugh,
Nothing like waiting to
I'm
the last
surprised
minute.
it was open.
Where did you get to?
We were up over by Fort Myers, over by kind of 75. I think it was Heritage Homes or whatever. We went in there.
Oh, you had
We-
a place to go to.
We had some Rick and Terry had some friends that
Okay.
that said come on over to our place, and so we went over there. But that would be Rick Stoltz,
Yep.
aka Rick Cantori.
I see. I see. So,
That's usually where he is during a storm. He's huddling in the closet with the
oh,
dogs.
stop. Come
and
on.
I'm
I
out
was
there
on.
fixing the door.
That's not what my friend
ratchet
Lester Holt says
strapping
when he
things
calls
down.
me looking for video of what's going on down here. So,
Please.
did you see I was on NBC Nightly News with
Oh,
Lester Holt a couple
brother.
weeks? Did you see that?
I did
I'll
not.
send you a clip of it. I mean,
No.
anything about the menu you want people to start to salivate over right now?
Yeah, we're pretty much gonna go back to the same menu that we had. We believe that we were serving a very good quality food. Everything that we serve is made to order. There's nothing pre-made. So like if you want scrambled eggs, we're gonna crack that egg fresh. Everything. We
Yeah,
have the
the
Island
omelets were
Omelet, the
huge.
Island Club sandwich is back, but we're going to bring all the good staples back, and that's the plan. The big difference that I believe right now, Ed, with our restaurant is we believe that the breakfast crowd might be down a little bit because there's not as many locals living here, and the vacationers are not all back yet. But we believe the lunch crowd will probably supplement that because of all the contractors and everybody else's. So we think that we're going to get a little bit better balance of a breakfast to lunch balance where it was probably 85-15 breakfast to lunch previously.
Yeah, I
So-
think if you named a sandwich after us, like the Yellow
Oh,
Army
my
Club
God.
or something, business is going to
We can
go.
do that.
You're going to close down. There's going to be no business.
You
if
tell
that
me what
happens.
you tell me what sandwich you like, and we'll put it on there for you.
So Labor Day is what? It's
He only eats turkey,
like-
so there you go.
like a,
2 weekends.
2 weekends away. Oh, that's not too bad.
No.
Yeah.
So, are you planning like a grand opening, a ribbon cutting? I mean, you're not going to have enough seats that day. You better order some extra food. What day? So that's going to be on a Monday, hopefully, or
Well, we would like
Right
to be
before
open that
Memorial.
weekend.
that weekend. Yeah.
So if we could get
Before
open like
Memorial
that
Day.
Thursday, do maybe a soft opening on Thursday and
Sweet.
then a Friday. But you'll know. You'll be the first to know
Yeah.
when we're going to open the doors.
So, are you planning like a big party, or is the chamber
we
gonna?
are.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
are.
the chamber wants to be out there.
For sure.
Ray wants to be out there.
Ray Sandelli?
Yeah, he
Oh,
wants to be out there.
Very
so-
nice. His last hurrah. He's
Yeah.
retiring from the
Mhm.
county board. We don't want to get into the county board discussion.
No.
Who are you going to vote for county
No,
board?
you're
Any?
right.
Yeah, you don't have to answer.
Yeah, we can vote for the Lee County.
Oh.
Yeah,
I talked to Ray, and so
yeah.
and
He's going to tell you to vote for.
yeah.
Yeah, he's going to tell you the right.
Yeah, I
person.
asked him who. Yeah.
Any idea who you would like if you lived on Fort Myers Beach? Who you would vote for, Brian?
You know,
Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention, that's okay. I know you've
don't,
been busy.
I didn't follow it close enough
Yeah.
because I'm not able to vote for that.
Right.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
follow the Cape Coral stuff? I
A
mean,
little bit.
Yeah.
This was the
We've
beauty.
been pretty busy.
yeah,
But
good.
this is the beauty of living down in Southwest Florida.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Politics is like way down on our list right here.
Mine too. Mine too.
we kind of got our own little world down
Yeah.
here. The rest of the world is living, and we're in our own little world, and we're loving it.
Sure.
So
That
So,
was great.
anything else you want folks to know about how they can get in
What are
touch with
the
them?
hours going to
The
be?
hours-
Days?
So right now we're still going to have post the same hours. It's going to be 7:30 to 2 o'clock. But if the demand is there, we will keep that restaurant open as long as people are still coming in and wanting lunch or even like an early dinner. We will
24/7.
keep it open.
24/7. The first few
Oh
weeks.
God, no, not 24/7.
Are you going to serve breakfast all day?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
very
breakfast-
nice.
Our menu is breakfast and lunch all day. There's no time frame. So if you want a hamburger at 7:30 in the morning, we'll make you a hamburger at 7:30 in the morning.
All right, and I will also the hamburger in the morning thing. There was a story behind that. Sue had there's a
But he
story
can't
behind that. I
remember
can't
it.
remember the name of the story. I remember it. It had something to do with politics. So The email address again is B_M B_J_Martins MARTINS at Yahoo
at Hotmail.
at Hotmail.
.com.
Hotmail. You're still using Hotmail.
I
Jeepers,
am.
Get onto the Gmail thing.
I tell you what, as soon as we get this restaurant open and and we get everything, we're getting rid of our emails because we get like 8 million emails a day.
Yeah.
And we were ready to get rid of these emails, but I had to keep it because of the reopening.
My boss
process.
at the magazine still uses an AOL email address. I'm surprised.
Wow.
I'm surprised anything still gets through to her.
I have a Gmail account, and that's the one
Yeah.
that you broadcasted, but I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay, so all the emails are stuffed in that.
Yeah, but I got it, but I couldn't recite it. I don't know what it is.
So the reason we gave out the email is because Brian is dedicating a wall at the Pancake House to survivors or people on Fort Myers Beach. He wants to know your story. He wants to hear about your experience on the
And a
island and get your
picture.
pictures. So send a high resolution picture. How are you going to take them and get them on the wall? You just going to kind of tape them up there?
No, we're
Or you
going to frame them. They're going to be all in
nice.
frames.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, and the
Tape 'em.
location is in the Seagrave Plaza. Anything else you want people to know? Let it rip, man.
Hopefully you show up for some breakfast.
Oh, come on. That's not, you don't even need to worry about that. Big hand for Brian and Stacy, everybody. Thank you guys for coming in. The Island Pancake House is going to be opening Labor Day weekend. The Labor Day weekend show, as Jimmy would say. All right. Before we get to our second guest, we got some great information to tell you about related to the 2-year anniversary of the storm that you're going to need to know. We got to tell you about our sponsors, including Jorge Barrera. You see Jorge signs all over Fort Myers Beach and elsewhere. The real estate market is changing every day, and that's why it's important to hire a realtor. Didn't they just do a whole thing with changing the commission thing that went in place August 1st? Jorge will know all about that. He understands the Fort Myers Beach market and the challenges. He's an experienced agent who will listen to your unique circumstances. Give Jorge a call because he's totally over the COVID. He's 100% healthy right now. Him and his lovely wife and their pug dog. He's sitting in his car right now waiting for you to call so he could get stuck in traffic on Estero Boulevard getting to your house. 239-791-9893. 239-791-9893. Julie Allen says she still uses a Roadrunner email. Wow. That's like before AOL, isn't it? Roadrunner. KGT Builders, you saw them last week when we did our walk around. They're building homes here on Fort Myers Beach, 15 years of experience. They're entirely committed to helping rebuild Fort Myers Beach. Their office is over 100 years. They boast of over 100 years of new home building experience, 17-time Sand Dollar winner through the CBIA. Gosh, I wish I was a Sand Dollar winner. And you can give Spencer Morris a call right now. Spencer was the one that gave us a tour last week. I wish I could remember the name of the road I was on when I went through that nice house that they built. He can answer your questions. You can call him or text him right now, 239-887-0166, 239-887-0166, KGT Builders. All right, everybody, it's time to get up to date on everything going on with rebuilding your house and insurance and FEMA and Daniel Ty, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand. He's an attorney. It's his second time on the show. The first time, I think we were at Wahoo Willie's when he was on. Was that a Saturday? You're going to sit in here and just grab, yeah, that one's good. That one's good. Yep, you're on. You're good now.
Terrific.
Was that a Saturday or a Sunday?
Look what you started.
What did I start? What? What's going on over there?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No,
How are you?
last time you were on, we'll talk about the attire that you were wearing. But also, were you engaged at that time or newly married?
I was probably engaged, and I
And
think you
now-
picked up on a little
Yeah,
something right here,
look at
huh?
that.
So now you're
I
married.
Now
remember.
I'm married.
Very
Happily
nice.
married
To the
man.
same person that from before?
You know, I'm glad you pointed that out. Yes, yes. Should be very proud to hear that.
Kids on the
That's
way
awesome.
yet?
Actually, we haven't done a formal announcement, but no better place than
Oh
here.
my
We
Breaking
just
goodness.
news.
found out 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we're pregnant.
Wow.
Wow,
Well,
congratulations. That is
And
awesome.
I haven't even done the announcement to my family. You
Yeah.
put me on the
Oh,
spot.
boy.
I had to.
There's no
I
chance.
told my mom. I told my dad.
Nobody watches
Okay.
this show, so there's no chance anybody heard that. No. So you're hoping for a boy or a girl? What would you like? Now, don't
I mean-
say you're fine with either one. What are you pushing
Well,
for? Come
everybody's
on.
fine with either one.
I know, but what do you want to have?
You know, so I make a rule. I don't talk about politics. I
Okay.
don't talk about religion in public. And I think this might be a third thing
Yeah.
that I probably
Dear,
shouldn't
he
speak in
just got
public on.
married.
Well, why the
Don't-
hell are you on
don't
the show
cause
if
a
you're not going to
problem.
talk about anything?
Well, we are going to talk about. So refresh our memory about what kind of law you
Yeah,
practice
Oh, great. So, yeah,
and where you're from.
Second time visitor here with the show and really happy to be here. We're an insurance property damage law firm, obviously following these catastrophic storms. There's just a ton of insurance issues and just amongst all the other issues with rebuilding and all of that. So our goal is to help provide some clarity to your audience. If I can, however we can provide value. We've got a great blog. We're very accessible. And that's the focus of our practice. So, happy to be here and going to hopefully have some fun and share some important information with you.
All
guys.
right. So there's a 2-year anniversary is coming up, and you sent me an email with some bullet points about there's some things people should know about. So why don't
Sure.
you kind of share that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so really important to know anyone who's still going through the insurance process or anyone who hasn't even started their insurance process. And obviously here in Fort Myers Beach and some of the hardest hit areas, there's probably not a lot of people who didn't do something right away, of course. But in some of the outlying areas, maybe less obvious damage, there's still a lot of people who maybe are using the ostrich thing and hoping for the best. But the problem is after 2 years from Hurricane Ian, you're no longer allowed to notice a new claim for the damage for Hurricane Ian. So if you haven't made that notice of loss,
What does that mean, notice?
So
Yeah.
say it again for the people in the back and keep that
Oh,
close. There
sure,
you go.
sorry.
Sorry.
yeah. So within 2 years of the storm, you need to make notice of your loss. And that's your intention to make a recovery under your insurance policy. So generally speaking, that means submitting a claim. But obviously insurance companies, and unfortunately being insurance companies, we really want to stress that it has to be done the right way. And in every insurance policy, you've got rights as a policyholder, but you also have obligations in order to avail yourself of those rights. So, Ed, that was what I was bringing up, was the importance of, prior to this 2-year deadline, making sure, even if you don't think you had a lot of damage, even if you don't think you really had any damage, get a professional out to check your roof, your building exterior, whatever it may be, because after that 2-year period, if you get a leak on year 3 in 1 day, right? The day after this thing runs, they're not going to pay you for your damage, even though you truly and very obviously deserve that insurance money.
Is that a state law, or is that
Yeah, it's so that's a state law in Florida. That's the notice deadline.
okay?
That being said, if you've made the proper notice, us as attorneys can still help you out further down the line. That would be the statute of limitations under which we can file a suit on your behalf. So it's really important right now, and I'm really kind of leaning in on that, because for people who haven't done as much as they can to investigate their loss and what happened to their property and got that information over to their carrier, it is urgent and critical at this point. This is it, man. This is the 1 yard line.
Do you think there are
right?
actually people left that haven't at least taken that step?
Absolutely. So maybe not here where you have very obvious damage and catastrophic damage. We're talking about tile roofing systems in Cape Coral.
Okay.
We're talking about people maybe a little further east or a little
Right.
further north. Even in Jacksonville, in Orlando, there were pockets with a lot of damage. And obviously, no one wants to be in a situation where you have damage, right? I mean, obviously. Secondly, no one wants to be in a position where you have to really come to terms and say, I got to be in kind of this adversarial position with my insurance carrier. No one wants to go through that process. So the natural inclination is to kind of sit and kind of hope it gets better, or hope, it's not really a big deal. But the problem is the insurance companies have set it up that if you do that and you take that as your strategy, they're going to win. They're not going to pay you what they owe you.
So I just want to clarify, make sure I understand it. So you have 2 years just to make the notice, not necessarily file the claim or file the claim.
So notice would be filing
In
your
the claim.
insurance claim
Okay.
and also doing it according to the provisions of the policy. So it's a little trickier. And I'm sure a lot of us out here have dealt with these insurance companies, maybe trying to advocate by yourself, maybe using a good public adjuster or an attorney. There's a lot of legalese in those contracts. There's a lot of sub bullets, and most people aren't in a position to do this very well. And naturally, and hopefully, most people don't go through this more than once in a lifetime, if they even have to.
What is your opinion now, almost 2 years later, in helping people with insurance claims and helping people with other things that go on as they're trying to rebuild? What is your conclusion about why these insurance companies have totally screwed these people on Fort Myers Beach?
Profit.
You nailed it. And honestly, we do a lot of these catastrophic storm work. You know, we come into the communities, we really help out. And we see it everywhere. It's not specific or local to Fort Myers Beach, of course. This is the business strategy going forward. And we've recently opened offices in Georgia and Tennessee, and we've got a couple other states coming online later this year. And we see this is the Florida strategy. What they do is they take your premiums. And then when you have the audacity to ask for that money that you need, that you've bargained for by paying your premiums, they make you jump through every hoop in the book. And if you miss a single step, they say, oh, sorry. And then you have to hire someone like me to help, which honestly, if these insurance companies were acting in good faith and fair dealing on our claims, they would send someone out, an adjuster, to investigate the loss. And that adjuster would have the authority to make it right. Instead, what we've seen, especially a lot of the condos, a lot of tile roofs and higher value losses, anything over 6 figures, they're sending an engineer out. And this is a third party that they hire to investigate the loss. Well, why do you need an engineer if it's pretty obvious damage and you intend to pay that homeowner? What they're doing is they're setting it up to deny it in the name of profit.
So the obviously you play a role in that, but how is this not something that the government takes care of or gets involved, like Petronus's office in Florida, whatever, about the insurance? It just seems like wind blames water, water blames wind, and the people can't get back in their homes. It just doesn't seem right. I'm not going to say it's not fair. It isn't fair, but it doesn't seem right that the government doesn't say, listen, they've been paying their premium for 30 years. We have one storm, and now you're
no
saying
watchdog group or.
So 2 parts. The first is the government generally is looking to say, they're looking at this and they're saying, well, that's a contract issue. That's a private issue. If your insurer's not paying you, we have the rules of civil procedure. You can hire a lawyer and enforce what you're owed. That's number one. Number 2 is Petronus and the powers that be, they're actually supportive of eliminating policyholder rights in favor of insurance companies to the insurance company's benefit, because they're looking at this as if it's a problem of insurance rates going too high. And instead of saying, hey, is this a fair process to everyone? They're saying, what in the world can we do to make insurance rates go down, no matter who it hurts, no matter what, because those are the people that fund their campaigns.
Right. And
Now, I just want to ask, can you explain a little bit about how right now, the Ian, people are covered. If there's a dispute, they can file a suit and not have to pay attorney fees.
Yeah.
But going forward, and that's to your point of how this change just took place. So tell us when the change took place and what the law is that went into effect.
Sure. So I've been practicing in this specific niche area, property damage, first party insurance claims, for over a decade. We've done thousands of these claims, and I've seen the rights of policyholders erode time and time again. It seemed like every legislative session, one of the biggest things, and I'm sure it was supported by the insurance industry paying for lobbyists, was to further erode the rights of policyholders to save money for insurance companies. So what you identified, Kim, is one of the biggest problems is that under state statute 628, us as your attorney, if you had to hire an attorney to get what your insurance company already owed you, you had to hire a professional like us to compensate them. The insurance company had to pay an additional amount other than the underlying damage amount, so that the homeowner wouldn't be left paying out of pocket for that legal assistance. Now that law has been changed and stricken from the books. The good news for people in this community is that it doesn't apply retroactively to your Hurricane Ian claims.
But if something happened in Debbie,
something happened in Debbie, you're under the new state law, you're under new policy terms of your insurance contract, and you can no longer avail yourself of that. Again, another reason we're really imploring people, hey, while you can, get your home totally thoroughly investigated so that you can make sure. Worst case scenario, you get a clean bill of health, which is actually the best case scenario.
Did you?
And that, can I just ask?
Yeah.
That legislation that took over, that new legislation, I mean, what I heard, the rationale behind it was, well, we need more, we want to cut down on frivolous lawsuits, and that's going to bring more insurance companies in,
Has it
and that's
happened
going
yet?
to be bring rates down. Now, how many people can say their rates went down?
No.
Yep,
Come
chirp,
on.
chirp, right.
Totally agreed, and that was the supposed legislative intent. You nailed it. That's what I always tell people. I said,
Why do
"Oh,
we
you
need the
seen a
attorney
discount?"
on when you can just tell everybody? So is that a Rolex you're wearing there?
Oh,
It
here
is,
we
yes.
go.
What is that? How much did that cost?
He
It's
doesn't
a nice
talk
quality
money.
timepiece.
How much,
and it
how
could be
much is a
It
Rolex?
could be an
Come on.
heirloom.
Is it a real Rolex or one you get in New York
it's a real
City?
one.
Yeah. Well, how much does a Rolex cost?
They're not cheap. you
Well,
know?
that's the fourth thing you don't want to talk about.
Well, listen, last time I was on, you made fun of my tight pants.
I didn't make fun of
And that-
anything.
and
Total
now you're
jealousy.
picking on me.
No, I just.
Well, and so are these, last time for the backstory here, there was this whole big discussion about his pants, and because Ed had never heard of Lululemon. So then, are they Lululemon today?
They are, and believe
Okay.
me, I'd rather be in a tank top and flip flops out here on
But
beautiful
you
Fort
gotta be
Myers Beach.
professional.
But,
now what
you know,
what kind of shoes are those? I mean, you
These
could have
are-
wore flip
these are,
flops. What are they?
Hey, listen, next time I'll wear flip flops.
Yeah, what are
yeah, you got my word.
Those are very nice.
Yeah,
what are they?
These are Cole Haans. I'm not sponsored.
They're
I
Oh,
what?
swear.
boy.
They're what?
Cole Haan.
And
Whoa.
they make it, they're like a hybrid athletic shoe
I
and
see.
dress shoe. So for me, I actually, and again, getting back to a little bit of business, but I go on site a lot. So if we're working with a condo association, we're working with a homeowner, I like to get in and get the context in real time and meet the people. So I'm trying, you're not going to see me in a suit and tie unless I'm
No.
in court.
Right.
Now, were the shoes more
Well,
than the
but if
watch, or is
you-
the watch more than the shoes? I mean,
Dear, him sitting here, it's the equals the baby truck.
oh wow, jeez, that's some expensive equipment there. Well,
But
he
you
is
don't want to hire a lawyer
No.
and you meet him
right.
and he's, I
Yeah.
mean, there's casual and then there's
Right, yeah,
sloppy.
totally
You don't
professional.
want sloppy.
Yeah, I
You,
didn't say I wanted him to dress sloppy. I was asking him how
I
much his
mean,
Rolex costs. I
you
mean,
want someone, I mean,
gotta Google that
obviously,
later.
You're not going to get stuff like this.
What
if you're
size?
not
What size pants
successful.
you wear? What size
We're
pants?
getting
are
even more personal.
Yeah,
I'm
didn't
we do
34,
that?
34.
I think we
34.
went
Yeah,
with
you
What-
need
that.
how much you weigh?
Here
What do
we
you
go.
weigh?
We went
You're
into
about,
this
you're about
before.
6'2", right?
Next to my bench press.
No.
No, how many push-ups? How many push-ups can you do?
Say,
is
what are
gonna
you,
be his-
6'2"? Let me guess.
Yeah, 6'3",
6'3",
maybe 6'3" and a half.
190.
Appreciate that. Probably closer to 210,
210,
215.
yeah.
Now he's going to ask you about gel in your hair, so you might as well share
Yeah.
with us what hair products
So-
you
You could have
use.
shaved for our
so we
show,
got into
man.
my outfit, my marital status, my gender,
Yes.
my
Yeah.
forthcoming
Yes,
child.
yes.
Where else can we go from
Yeah,
here?
hey.
Do you have an extra room on the house already, or are you going to be moving to a bigger house?
We do. We have a guest room that we're converting
Nice.
into a nursery, and we're very excited.
Where
about
do you live in Fort
Thank
Myers,
you.
Naples, or thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, actually, so I used to live in Naples, and my home is now in Jupiter, Florida, about 2 hours away.
You drove 2
So-
hours to come down here.
I'm happy to do it. I do it
Wow,
a
I
couple
didn't know you
times
were
a
that
week.
far away.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
how
got to
many-
get him at least one client from this audience. He drove 2 hours. Brian, you
you
need
have-
a lawyer?
Do you have clients in this area currently?
Yes. So
Oh,
our,
cool.
our practice, and in this day and age, a lot of things are taking place virtually with Zoom. I had a home and office here in North Naples, and we never really saw clients there. And
Until you move.
yeah, well, exactly. But we're very happy, to do work in the local community here. It's not a problem at all. 2-hour drive for me, and most of our work as lawyers is not on-site work. We're not swinging hammers on your roof. So it really, isn't a problem at all. And I'd say a majority of our clientele is here in Southwest Florida, especially with our history of success in Hurricane Irma.
Yeah.
When Hurricane Ian hit, we had a ton of our old clients unfortunately suffering again, and our reputation for helping these condo communities.
The condos are still not open on a lot of this island. I mean, what's the percentage of condos you think are open? 30? I mean, 30 would be high. It's probably not even 30%. I mean, it's just, you hear the horror stories. I mean, and there's one condo on Fort Myers Beach where they have a contractor. Now they've hired a contractor who they don't think has used the insurance money for what it was supposed to be used for. And now they're out of money. I mean, What do you do in that case? Because you're
Does
now
that
fighting.
fall under your
I'll tell you.
area of expertise?
I'll tell you the problems that I see. And what happens is I'll make my corny joke, but I tell boards when I talk to them, I say, I don't think they pay you enough, right? It's a volunteer
Right,
situation. And these are people generally who want to serve, want to help, but they don't have a background in insurance,
Right.
contracts, claims, construction. So they're just regular people doing the best they can. And my best advice to any condo association is get with a professional. And unfortunately, after these storms, you do see people come in who maybe aren't really qualified, either in construction or in claims. You get some public adjusters, maybe from out of state. Maybe the local divorce and injury lawyers want to pretend they're hurricane lawyers. You know, our process is a little different. We're really designed for that, to shepherd our clients all the way through our initial consultation with a true understanding of what's going on in our process. So they're not hiding in the elevator from the other people they live with.
Can you
know?
name the law firm again? So
Sure.
Debbie, if
Yeah.
you could type it in the chat box after Daniel.
Yeah, the best way to find us is at TIGHEPA.com, and I'm going to spell that out, TIGHEPA.com. And Ed, I'm sure you'll have a little more fun with this, but you know, I go by the insurance tiger around the office.
The what?
The insurance tiger.
The insurance tiger.
Oh,
That's his moniker in the
I
office.
got you. I got
That's
you.
the
All right.
nickname
All
I've heard.
right.
Don't worry, right over my head.
Yeah.
So,
You gotta dumb it down.
you got to
for
way
him.
dumb it down for me. So
Can I ask?
Let
how
me finish.
Much
Let
money
me
have
finish
you
on the
recovered
HOA
in
thing.
some of
Here,
the-
let
all
me
right.
finish on the HOA thing.
Well, so
So-
you do HOAs too, not just individual
condos.
people.
We do a lot of both, but I'd say, you know, what we're probably best known for is the more complicated, the condo situations,
Okay.
large tile roofs, specialty roofs.
So
you know.
here's a situation where you have homeowners in the condo and the HOA. The HOA and the homeowners now are not getting along, and the HOA has an attorney that represents the HOA. They don't really represent the people that have ownership. What is the resolution for the owners that are now blaming the HOA for screwing up the insurance money? How do you ever get back into your unit?
So that's a really good question, and something we're seeing a lot, especially on the beach
Ding,
and some
ding,
of these, you know, harder hit areas, because it is a terrible drain on people who are either this is where they live, or some condos down here, they were counting on rental income
Yep.
or timeshare or whatever it may be. So it's really a tough situation. Unfortunately, it's really fact specific. So there's not like blanket advice. What I can say is communication is a cure-all, right? So anytime there's difficulty, anytime something's going to be delayed, for example, what comes up a lot is people will hire us and they say, okay, great, where's the money? And I have to explain to them, well, it's a process. And because I take the time to walk them through all the steps that we're taking, there's a greater understanding of the process and why things are taking the time they take. We also have set up good lines of communication where people can call our office. People can get an answer almost any time of day. They can text message on the claim file and our team will respond to them. So although there's not any sort of, you know, snap your fingers and it gets done, what we've found is that by communicating and setting realistic expectations and then helping our boards communicate it to all the people who live there so that they know we're proactively working, but certain things just take time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, scheduling an engineer. Well, what if the best engineers are scheduled out 4 to 6 weeks?
Mhm.
Well, we need that evidence to do our job, and nothing can be done prior to that 4 to 6 weeks. So the bad way to do it would be just not to say anything.
Right.
The way we do it is we set
Let
those
people know up
expectations.
front. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the process on Fort Myers Beach seemed to be you file a claim, the insurance company tells you to screw off, you go to a public adjuster, and then the attorney, if the public adjuster can't get your money. Should they cut out the public adjuster part at this point and just get an attorney? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot to
No,
say
no.
yes, but what?
Not at all. Obviously, where we're at now is, generally speaking, the insurance companies have more ammunition to delay or to deny these claims, right? To dispute these claims, because it's been almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So it may make sense at this point not to hire, to hire someone with the full tool belt of the rules of civil procedure and the legal leverage that we have. Additionally, the way my office operates, because this is all we do, we handle all the parts that traditionally a public adjuster would, and we also do it as a law firm. So, obviously my suggestion is I'm confident we have the best processes, the best culture, the best people running these processes. So that would be my suggestion.
So skip. They can skip the public adjuster.
My suggestion is where we're at nearly 2 years from the
Right.
storm. If you don't have your money, give me a call.
Yeah, right.
You know, like what are you waiting on?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to change.
Right.
Has there been any feedback, good or bad, about Citizens?
Citizens
You know,
insurance.
I think everyone's having trouble with almost every carrier, to be
Okay.
completely frank with you. The problem with Citizens is you don't have some of the bad faith and other legal leverage that we have against private insurers. And also for the condominium unit owners who are tuning in, a lot of those policies are written on what's called the excess and surplus market. You may have not a Florida or not even an American insurance company. You have a conglomerate called Lloyd's of London, and they've got different paths to your indemnity, where obviously their incentive is to kind of slow down the flow of money. So we're adept at handling all this. Again, I'm not here shilling anybody. I'm here to add value. But at this stage in the game, it's time to get serious. It's time to get a professional who knows what they're doing. We're very happy to help, even if it's just helping people to better understand their rights, or just to put out really helpful blog articles, or just help people square away what's going on. And if they do need legal assistance, obviously we're very happy to help.
And for folks who don't know, what's the cost to hire you to
Sure.
do it?
Yeah, so we work on a pay for performance guarantee. All right. So if we don't recover money for you, you do not pay us. I think that's a pretty good offer.
Yeah.
Say that
Gener-
again for
yeah.
the people in the back.
Yeah. So you can hire our law firm, and if we don't recover money for you, that's on me. If we didn't perform, you don't owe us any money.
So
There's
the-
no legal.
So the consultation will be, I think you're not going to get money. I'm not going to take the case, or you think
Absolutely.
we can get you some money.
Absolutely. We're going to look at the matters. That's part of our investigation process. We're going to confer with your insurance carrier. We're going to square away all the evidence. And if we can't help you, no worries, no harm, no foul, no fees, no costs.
And is there any chance to still get money out of insurance companies
There's
this
a
far
great,
down
there's
the
a
line?
great chance during hurricane. We still have some Hurricane Irma claims going, if you'd believe that.
What year was
And
that?
we're
Wow.
2017, and
Wow.
we're still recovering money on these claims. And a lot of them are large condominium claims because they're more complex, and because a lot of them have these excess and surplus carriers.
I just can feel the condo owners hearing you say that and go, "Oh my God!" But how much can you say? How much you've gotten?
Yeah, I
like,
mean, we've been very
recovered?
successful. We've recovered well in excess of $250 million. That's $250 million only on first-party property damage claims here in Florida.
Wow.
So when you talk about how do you de-risk a situation, like if I'm going to a doctor and I'm having a surgery, I want to go to the guy who's done this specific surgery thousands of times.
Right.
That's us with insurance claims.
Wow. So the condos now also have to deal with, they have to have a certain a fund because of the seaside. The seaside building fell down or collapsed. And then now the state had passed a law that the condos have to have a certain amount of money, and they have to do an inspection every 10 years. And I think the governor was trying to get the legislature to have a special session to try and address that, because especially down here, all these people are out of money. Where's that going?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously outside of the realm of insurance claims, but I'm happy to touch on it. So what's happened is, in light of the incident you're talking about, people realized that maybe condos were deferring too much maintenance, and it was putting people's health and safety at risk. So well-intentioned, they adopted some, rules and guidelines, in reserve requirements, so that you actually, if you're a condo, you actually have to set money aside to be able to perform needed work. We're not just doing this house of cards where, a unit owner lives there for 30 years, sells it, and never had to pay for any maintenance. And then also you've got some milestone investigation reporting just to make sure that these are safe and habitable buildings. So generally speaking, these are good things that are designed to protect our communities. The problem is sometimes when you implement really big changes really quickly, you're going to put a squeeze on people. And we're seeing this in a lot of communities where the condo prices have plummeted because people know that there's going to be these big assessments coming.
Yeah.
And it's really created, like you said, a tough situation. And then over here, in light of people haven't recovered their hurricane claims and rebuilt these units and these buildings yet, it's definitely putting people in a bind. This is something we also do some advising on. And if I may go on just a little further about this, what
Sure.
may be helpful for our condo listeners here is there are options to start your rebuild process prior to recovering all of your insurance money. And the way our office does it is different and unique because of our specific relevant experience. We've built these workflows where even single family homeowners, if you've got a contractor that you like and you can afford it either through financing or you're independently wealthy, God bless
Right.
you, you know, you can actually rebuild before you get your money, and we can still run that claim for you. So we've got those workflows built out, and we do see people availing themselves of it, especially in light of this is where you live. And also we've had a tremendous increase in the property values. So sometimes people are accessing that through either a HELOC or an HEA agreement through a company called Unlock, which allows them to access their home's equity with no payments.
But they got to know at the
Wow.
end of the day they're getting that money somehow.
Which means you need to call a lawyer to get your case perfected before you go ahead and do any work.
So
if
you'll-
you do the work without calling
Ah.
somebody, you're going to be in trouble with your insurance company.
Yeah.
And I just mean in terms of the evidence is destroyed. If you haven't given them the notice, they're going to dispute your claim. We've seen it thousands of times.
Yeah. Is there any insurance company or two that you've had a good experience with that people can maybe, okay, I'm going to put them on my list to call when my policy is up? Are you
I-
allowed to do that?
I wish it was that easy. And
Yeah.
really, these claims are all on a case by case basis. I will tell you my general insurance advice, though, it might be helpful. Obviously, you've got a higher trench of insurance carriers that are very expensive. You're paying more for a premium product. A Chubb, an AIG Select would be examples of that. And we have claims against them too. They're not immune from
Right.
wrongfully disputing claims, but generally you're paying for a higher premium product and they're taking a little better care. But what you want to do is get with an agent and someone who's going to proactively shop your insurance around, especially if you've done your repairs and your home, you know, has been repaired, new roof, new siding, new windows, whatever. Now's the time to shop because you're a better risk for an insurance carrier. So if you haven't done that last step of your rebuild, which is go try to save your insurance money, I implore you to do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question that's completely out of left field. Like,
Oh, here we go.
because you know it's not often that you get a lawyer sitting next to you can ask a question. So let's say I have a bullhorn, right?
Oh,
And I'm standing on the sidewalk and I'm preaching the gospel and I'm yelling at women that are coming by, calling them names and their daughters' names, and I have pictures of things on the public sidewalk. I'm not violating the noise ordinance. Is there anything that anybody can do, or is that strictly a First Amendment right that I have and everybody else has?
It sounds like this hypothetical may not be a
It's
hypothetical.
is
totally
not.
real, but
So,
it's not me.
But let me, yeah, well, I didn't see your bullhorn, so I'm happy to hear that. Generally speaking, we do have strong First Amendment protections here in America, which is a good thing. However, from what you've indicated from the fact pattern is potentially this individual is harassing people, which is not legal. So if you could document what's going on and maybe a pattern of harassment and then turn that over to local law enforcement,
I see.
you may get some traction.
So it
And
needs
this
to
is
be
way out of
right,
bounds.
right. So it needs to be me verbally harassing. What constitutes verbal harassment? At what level does it get to harassment?
You'd have to look to the statute, and your first call would probably be the police because they do the investigation and then they turn that over to our our criminal justice
Okay,
system,
gotcha,
which would be
gotcha.
the prosecutor. So that's just how the process works
Right.
is you document what's going on, you call your local friendly police officer, and squeaky wheel gets
Right.
the grease, right?
So
You
let's-
show them enough that
so
it's happened.
safe under the First Amendment, but if it rises to a certain level of harassment, then there's that avenue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. You have a right to express yourself and not have your speech
Your
limited.
views.
But if you're
Mhm.
affecting someone else in a way that violates a law, you're breaking the law and you
Right.
can be
So,
prosecuted.
but
for
if
that.
I'm not harassing anybody, if I'm not calling anybody names and I'm just being annoying, if I'm standing in a public square just being annoying with a bullhorn, not violating the noise ordinance, but people don't want to hear what I'm saying. there's nothing anybody can do, correct?
I wouldn't be the subject matter expert, but unfortunately, I don't
Okay.
believe there's anything that
Right.
can be
So
done.
the best thing to do is ignore people
Right.
like
Well, I
that.
mean, there's a street.
And not invite them on your show, which is not going to happen as long as I'm alive.
So there's a guy a street preacher here. He does it everywhere.
I
Yeah.
followed you guys
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
And it got so many people jacked up last night, like because they think that he's violating some kind of law or rule, or you can't do that in my face. And unfortunately, it's just a Supreme Court thing. I mean, it's a part of the Constitution. Just because I'm annoying doesn't mean I have to stop.
Fortunately for some podcasts out there.
Yes, right. Now
And wives.
when he's on the sidewalk, most people can just kind of walk around and be less annoyed. The problem was when he was doing it in Times Square, he was doing it right outside a restaurant, and he was still in the public square. I mean, the public square was created for those kinds of things, like it or not. That's why it's called the public square.
Agreed. And, so speaking in public is very strongly protected, which
Yes.
again is a good thing. But if you're blocking the egress from a restaurant,
right,
if
sure.
you're taking up the whole sidewalk, there may be local ordinances or statutes that you're violating. Again, the best piece of advice I can tell you is just document it. If you've got people, for example, listeners who are upset by this person's behavior, document it when you see it and send it to your local police. And if you create a strong enough file, maybe there are some violations that person's doing, and maybe they can ask him to stop.
And
doing
that person has his own camera crew. So
Yeah,
he
he's
documents
not a dummy.
everything.
No, and I don't know. I think some people do appreciate his message, and other people get in his face, and his people are there ready to say, okay, if you're going to hit me, then I'm going to own
Yep.
you or something
Yep.
like that. And he
Yep.
does have good lawyers, and he's won a lawsuit for he had a sign, and the Fort Myers Beach town council back in the day tried to give him a code violation for the sign. He sued them and he won. I mean, because that's protected too. The town apparently can't make an ordinance that says you can't have this sign, whatever the sign was. It wasn't an offensive sign, but they were trying to find ways to make him less annoying, and it didn't work.
Sure. Well, obviously it's a difficult situation, and the police do a great job typically of trying to balance individual liberties versus people's right to enjoy walking down the beach without being harassed.
Yeah, I mean, there were college students on campuses that were clearly anti-Semites. They didn't get arrested. I mean, you want to talk about speech that was protected for some reason, but that's a whole different story. So any other advice for people that using a bullhorn? Using a bullhorn.
Bringing it back.
Yeah. I mean,
Let me see if I can tie it in.
Sure.
So a big piece of advice. if you're still-
T-I-G-H-E?
Correct. Yeah. Let's get our bullhorns. Let's
Yeah.
scream it. But if you're still dealing with an insurance issue, get your theoretical bullhorn out and make a sting to your insurance carrier and let them know you're not going to be run over. Let them know you're not going to suffer delays anymore, and that you demand what you're owed under your policy. And if you're not in a place that you think you're the right person to do that, you can contact our office. We will get out the biggest bullhorn you can imagine.
Yeah.
We will have signs on your behalf. And I think I tried to tie that into the
Yeah.
situation.
That was good.
And again, explain the importance of the deadline, of the 2-year
So
deadline.
September 28th comes. When it goes, if you have not submitted your Hurricane Ian claim and you try to do it the day after, tough luck. They're not going to help you.
All right. And one last time, how people can reach out to you and call you and get more information about your skinny jeans,
Yeah.
your Lululemon pants.
Always appreciate being on.
Oh,
Big
yeah,
supporter
man.
of what you guys are
Thank
doing.
you
Always
very
have a
much.
lot of fun.
Yep.
You can find us at TIPA.com. And PA stands for Professional Association. It's just a law firm designation. TIGHEPA.com. And we're also super active on social media. A lot of people follow us and they get day-to-day advice. We've got a really active blog with helpful stuff. You'll see me driving around the state, helping people, talking about specific circumstances, hopefully learn something, and you'll know where to go if you have a problem.
And we'll post the information, contact information on our Facebook page later on today, so that if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to them. Thanks so much for coming back. We appreciate
Thank
it. 2-hour
you.
drive.
Thanks
And
so much for having me.
congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
marriage
Yes,
and the
congratulations.
baby.
Thank you so much.
Daniel
Thanks,
Ty,
everybody.
everybody. Give him a call if you need help with your insurance. We appreciate him coming all the way down here. It was very nice of him to do that. And Tim, I think the answer to your question is I'm not an attorney. You should hire one if you have a question. I think if you're on a public piece of land and you have a bullhorn. The question was, can I stand out in front of his house and use a bullhorn? I think if you're on a public road, you can probably do that. He's doing it. I wouldn't get on his property or anything, but I don't think you were asking that. So Michael Stewart is one of our sponsors, everybody. Michael Stewart, mstewartpe.com is the website address. A local company, owned and raised right here. Local knowledge. They know every single job they create. They personally design and manage. His name is the company name, Michael D. Stewart PE. They have dozens of 5-star reviews on Google, and we want you to give them a call as soon as you can. Michael Stewart, 292. That's a 239 number, 292-7670. We're going to have Michael back on the show as soon as we can, real soon. So thank you to Michael Stewart for being a sponsor. And lastly, our sponsor of today is Tony Bone Painting. For some reason, I feel like I'm stuttering, and I haven't had a single beer today. So maybe that's the problem. Usually these things flow more easily when I've had a beer, but not today. I think I had too many beers last weekend during the party, and I feel like a fat blob because there was just so much partying going on for her birthday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, your dad didn't even know I was on Lester Holt. So I'll have to send them the link. It was the first story of the whatever that was, Sunday night, NBC Nightly News. Tony Bone is the person you want to call. If it looks like something was done crappy in your house from a contractor, then give Tony Bone a call and he will fix it for you. You know Tony from Painting the Wavy Wall. He volunteered his services to help us paint the Wavy Wall. Does a lot of volunteer stuff on the island, but he can also help you paint because you might need to paint your house after you get all the work done on the inside so that it looks spiffy. They have a nice bright yellow in case you want to paint your house like the Yellow Army. They've come from a family of painters, his father and his uncle and his brothers, his cousins. They're paint specialists, interior and exterior, cabinet and furniture finishing. He worked 12 years at the Edison Ford building. That's in Fort Myers, everybody. That's some fancy schmancy building downtown Fort Myers. That's all his work down there. So give Tony a call right now. He's sitting in his truck, his big box truck, waiting for you to call him so he can come to your house. 239-410-7083, 239-410-7083. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to Daniel. Thank you to our friends at the Islands Pancake House. And don't forget, tomorrow we're walking around the South End. We're going to get a look at some of those condos. And then the mayor's show is at 10 o'clock at Wahoo Willie's. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, come on out for breakfast at Wahoo Willie's. And we start the show there at 10 o'clock. Thank you all for coming to La Di Da. Oh, by the way, dear, Travis asked us if we wanted to do a show out at the pool, on the stage at the pool. So we're looking for a date to do a special show out there. Thank you all for coming. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Bye-bye.